What up, everyone? It is Toshi, and today we are going to be talking about No Longer Human by Junji Ito. Now, I know this video sort of already exists on my channel to an extent, but my tripod came today, right? So that's how I'm filming this. So I figured, rather than you guys having a still image of Ukiura and just my voice in the background talking about this, we can make somewhat of an actual video about this, which I've wanted to do for a while, but obviously I haven't had my tripod till today. Also, my hair's a bit of a mess. Like, I've sort of tried to do it up, but it's not perfect. It's a bit loose, it's a bit bulky, but I don't really care. Right, wait, you're not here to look at my hair. What? Your hair. So, like, bit nervous, first, like, actual video, like, so can we just, like, allow it? But no, yeah. You're not here to look at my hair. You're here because you want to hear about this. So, I mean, just get it started. Like, well, this is the cover, obviously. I don't know if you guys actually, like, own, like, an actual copy of this, or if you just read it online. But I just want to show it off anyway. So, yeah, I mean, brilliant artwork. Really intricate, really well designed, detailed cover. But that's just sort of Junji Ito for you anyway. Like, his artwork is very unique. If I just open this on like a random page, like, yeah, so here's what I mean. Like, you guys already know this man's art style is very unique. But I've read some of his other books, right? But No Longer Human, I mean, I know it's not technically his work to an extent. I know the original No Longer Human was written by Osamu Dazai, if that's how you pronounce his name. I might have butchered that, but I apologise. So yeah, no, the original work was written by Osamu Dazai, but Junji Ito obviously made his own manga adaptation of No Longer Human. Now, I haven't read the original No Longer Human by Dazai, but obviously I've read Junji Ito's manga adaptation, and I had to make a video on it. Like, my channel is like loosely based on like anime / manga anyway, mainly Bleach, duh. But no, I felt like I had to make a video on this because if you haven't read this book, I 100% recommend that you do. I don't remember how much it cost me. It says $27.99 on here, so it'll be, hang on, I've got my receipt. £28.24 in total, but like that's including the bag. So the book was $27.99, and you know what, 100% definitely worth it. If you haven't purchased the book already, 100% go and do it. Get the book, give it a read. But for those of you that have already done that and just want to hear about the book, rant about it, and hear my opinion, well, we can start from here. I just don't really know how to start off this video. Like, first video with my tripod, you get me? So I'm just very nervous, very, very nervous. So if you can just let that one go, that would be appreciated. Also, want to sort of look good. I don't think I look too bad right now. It's YouTube, who cares? But no, my thoughts on this book, solid 8 out of 10. 100% solid 8 out of 10. Very dark, very psychological, very, at some points, very difficult to read. Not in the sense of that, like, oh, it's a bad book. It's not, it's great. Difficult to read in the sense of it's very messed up, I suppose. And, psychological horror, not just that, Junji Ito, it's gonna be messed up. And, I mean, that's what we love about Junji Ito, right? Like, that's why we buy his books, read his manga, stuff like that. Because of his unique art style and his stories and his horror and, the way he just not only messes with your head, but messes with the heads of his characters. I mean, if you've read Tomie or Love Sickness, or like any of those, Smashed, like any of his other books, you probably already have somewhat of a taste for his style and understand what it's like, where it comes from, all of that. But this book is I'm struggling to talk about it because for those of you that have read it, I mean, where do you even start? Like, where, like, genuinely, like, this book is, it's just, it's unreal. You get me? I mean, I've forgotten quite a few of the characters' names. That's why I'm like scrolling through it right now. But obviously, Yozo is the main character of this book, and you know, we see from the beginning of the story, you know, his trauma involving women, and you know, we see that as he gets older, you know, his opinions, his views on women don't really change. Like, he never really understands humanity anyway, right? And I think that's why this book in particular and this character in general was so popular, was because there are, I suppose, a lot of people out there, you know, especially if you deal with mental health issues, you know, like I do, you sort of, you feel isolated from like the rest of humanity, and it's very easy to sort of feel like Yozo. Don't compare yourself to anime characters or manga characters, please don't. It's a very cringy thing to do. Please don't do it. But you know, you know what I mean, right? If you struggle with mental health, or you know, you're a bit edgy or whatever, you're a bit dark, like you sort of, it's very easy to relate to Yozo when you first start reading the book. Also, I apologize if you hear any noise outside, cars and stuff. I can't control that. I don't know what you want me to do. But no, so I think, you know, when you first get into the book, it's very easy to sort of relate to Yozo almost straight away, because, you know, he doesn't really relate to the rest of humanity. They sort of confuse him, and that's how, I think that's how a lot of us can feel on like a daily basis, especially if you do struggle with mental health. But Yozo, you know, he takes it a couple steps way too far, to say the least anyway. You know, and we see it when, what was his name? The friend that he made when he was younger, Takeichi, yeah, literally he was like on the first page I opened. So this guy, yeah, Takeichi, I mean, we notice how in the beginning of the book, when Takeichi notices that Yozo fumbles on purpose, it puts a fear in him, because he's never felt understood before, and now suddenly someone does understand him and can sort of see through him, and it's a person that nobody really likes, a person that's sort of outcasted, and you know what I mean, it puts a fear in Yozo, because he's never felt understood. He feels like, or like, he genuinely believes he's in his own little category. Like, you've got the rest of humanity by here, and you've got Yozo over here, and now Takeichi, who was obviously, you know, for Yozo part of this category, is now slowly, but obviously, you know, Takeichi eventually kills himself, and that's like the rest. You know, Yozo sees his ghost quite a lot, but, you know, I just mean, the amount of gore in this and psychological horror and stuff like that, it's next level. And I apologise this video is a bit all over the place, because like I said, I've got no idea where to start with this. This is my first proper YouTube video with my tripod, and you know, this book, very big, very complicated, very dark, and not something, I don't think it's something anyone, including me, can cover in a video. I think this is something that you genuinely just have to sit through and read before you can understand it. And even once you have read it, I feel like you got to read it a few more times to sort of completely understand it. But no, I mean, you see, like, as Yozo gets older, really struggles with addiction, alcohol, drugs, sex, women, gambling, stuff like that. You see very easily how mental health can lead to somebody ruining their own lives without even realizing it. Like for the reader, it was very clear that Yozo had issues with women. It was very clear he had issues with drugs and alcohol, stuff like that. But to Yozo, it wasn't. Like, he was very self-aware, in the sense that he was different to everyone else, and he didn't really understand them, nor did they understand him. But he wasn't self-aware in the sense of he was just making himself worse. I don't think he noticed that. Like, you know, when you sit down and read it, you can see very clear that he's not going about his issues in the bestest of ways. He's 100% making it worse for himself, but he doesn't realize that. He's not aware of that. I think that's what makes it more powerful, is that you see him make himself worse. You see him attempt suicide multiple times. You see him ruin relationships. You get me? You see all his lovers die, and it's very intense. Like, it doesn't, it takes a very, I don't want to say it takes a strong person to read this book, because you're just reading a book, right? But I think it takes a very strong-minded person to be able to read this book and not feel some sort of emotion, whether that's sadness, anger, disgust, or like a mix of like everything, because this book, it 100%, it stirs a lot of emotion into you, like the sex, the assault, the drugs, the alcohol, stuff like that, the suicide. Like Yozo Oba, the main character, he's so deep and interesting and complex, but at the same time so simple. Like anyone can sort of sit back and be like, oh, you know, he's just a typical man, he struggles with mental health, doesn't like women, negative experiences, blah blah blah, does drugs, does alcohol, sleeps around, eventually dies. Like, it's very easy to sort of sit down and just paint him in that light. But then when you actually sit down and, you know, look into his character and his trauma and stuff like that, you know, you can see the reasons behind it, and it's just, I suppose it depends greatly on how you look at it, right? Like I said, it's very easy to be like, oh, he's just another addict, just another, you know, alcohol drinker, sex crazed pest, whatever. It's very easy to just brush him off as just, you know, a basic mentally ill, messed up character. But that's not the point of this book. The point of this book is to delve deeper into that, delve deeper into his mind, his philosophies, his ways of life, his personality. And it sucks seeing him get more and more hurt again and again. Because, you know, there's moments in the book where he is happy, right? There's moments in the book where he is happy and content, but it never lasts very long. All his lovers eventually die or leave, or he leaves, etc., etc. Like, none of his happiness ever lasts for very long. And it's difficult to read, like, because obviously I don't know if it's a true story. It might be, it might not be. But like, you know, Oba's story, the story of No Longer Human, like, it does a lot to you. And I 100% recommend that you all go check this book out. Read it online if you don't want to buy it, but I 100% recommend that you do buy it and you do sit down and read it, just the whole thing. Like, it's just very, there's no word I can think of to describe this book. There is no one singular word that I can think of to describe No Longer Human. However, the words that do come to mind would be dark, thrilling, unique, special, very upsetting, and, you know, sort of realistic, right? Only because I don't think, and the scary thing about this book is, I don't think there's anything in this book that's sort of super unrealistic. Like, you know, you could be like, oh, well, you know, the seeing ghosts and hallucinating, stuff like that. Like, yeah, you could sort of, you know, with Takaichi's ghost and stuff like that. 1 second, I apologise. I think it's very easy to sit back and be like, oh, when he sees ghosts, that's quite unrealistic. It's like, well, you know, chances are, I mean, given his trauma and his stress and the things he was going through in life, not to mention the drugs and alcohol, Oba was most likely 100% suffering from some form of psychosis. And I believe that was what was causing him to see ghosts and have these hallucinations. Because even though you could sort of brush it off, just, oh, it's supernatural stuff, they're like actual ghosts, I think that sort of takes away from the whole mental health aspect of this book. Because psychosis is a real thing. And psychosis is an issue with the mind. Like, it's not paranormal, it's not supernatural. Like, psychosis is just an issue with the mind. And I believe Oba to be 100% in this book experiencing some form of psychosis. I wouldn't say he's suffering from major next level psychosis to the point where he's completely lost contact with reality. I wouldn't say it's to that extent. But I feel like he definitely is dealing with some form of psychosis in this book, especially with the seeing ghosts and hallucinations and stuff like that. And, you know, he talks about the desire to see, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was like, the desire to see monstrous things and stuff like that. I mean, no normal, sane person, you know, wants to see ghosts, wants to see demons and devils and monsters in their day-to-day life. But Oba did. And, you know, you can, like I said, you can just brush it off as just like, oh, he's just like an edgy character, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I get that. However, it's more to do with his mental health. You get me? he was a very sad and unique character, and you know, you can brush him off as like sexist or misogynistic or stupid or an addict, anything like that. But you know, I mean, given the time period that he lived in and the things that he experienced growing up, you can completely understand and see why he went that way as he grew up. You can understand, at least I feel like I can, and I think Junji Ito does an amazing job in this book of making you understand why Oba is the way he is. I think it's very easy to understand why he ended up the way he did end up. From the drugs to the alcohol to the sex to the suicide, the messed up relationships, like everything. And you know, he didn't have a good bond with his family either. He was alone for most of his life, and I think it was just, his life was just trauma after trauma after trauma. I'm flicking through it now, and it's just sad, you know. His life was just traumatic event after traumatic event after traumatic event, and you know, up until his death. You know, everything from his wife cheating on him, being assaulted, him being R-worded when he was a child. You know, it's just like the way his family treated him, the way people at school treated him. Like, he was very isolated, not just from himself, but from the world around him. And, you know, growing up like that, you can 100% see why why Oba turned out to be the way that he did. Sorry if this video was a little bit confusing. But like I said, my tripod came today. So this is my very first like actual proper YouTube video that I've like uploaded onto this channel and recorded properly. So I mean, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Don't let this video put you off my channel. It's like I said, it's my first one. Very nervous, very confused, don't really know how to go about this. But no, 100% check out this book. Get it on Amazon, get it from your local bookstore. Like 100% check out this book. If you don't want to buy it or can't afford it, just read it online. But no, 100% check this book out, especially if you're a fan of like horror, mental health, psychological stuff, thrillers, stuff like that. Like, you know, if you're a fan of the dark and, you know, all that type of stuff, definitely pick it up, definitely check it out. If you're a Junji Ito fan and you haven't read No Longer Human, 100% do. I haven't read the original novel by Osamu Dazai, but I want to, and I am planning to. I just haven't done it yet. But no, this book changed me. Not to sound like dramatic, like, oh my god, like this book changed my life. Like, no, like not like that. It just sort of, it changed my perspective on certain things, on certain people, certain mental health issues, stuff like that. Like, it makes you aware of things that you weren't really aware of. It changes your perspective on a lot of aspects of humanity. But no, I apologize for just how messy this video has probably been. I might redo this video. Well, no, I won't redo this video, but I might make another video on No Longer Human, just a little bit more in-depth and detailed. This video was just sort of to test out my new tripod, you know, make my first actual YouTube video. But yeah, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that. Please check out No Longer Human by Junji Ito. Check out his other work as well, especially if you're a fan of manga and horror, because Junji Ito's work, you know, his stories, his artwork is very unique. I don't think there's anybody else in the manga industry like Junji Ito. Not saying he's the greatest manga artist out there, at least not in my opinion, but I put him in the top 10 manga artists in the world right now. Don't know what number I'd give him, but I definitely put him in the top 10. But, you know, like I said, hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all of that, and I will see you all in the next one. This is Toshi, signing out.